Dear viewers, as they say in Game of Thrones, some of you wear the names of proud houses, others only
Busted names and no names at all.
It does not matter. You're all equally welcome to the channel. My name is Captain Bicep, and this is Stronghold Crusader 2. To help us dive balls deep into keyboard crusading, we have two very prestigious guests who have agreed to give us their opinion and also some how to play advice for our viewers. President of the United States, Joe Biden, and former President Donald Trump. Thank you for coming. You both love playing video games, don't you?
You probably play more than I do, Joe.
What about...
Yes, maybe. I know you're a busy man. So, in a nutshell, Stronghold Crusader's gameplay focuses on managing your keep and resources while defending against hordes of enemies. When you've built up your defenses to withstand the waves of mindless warriors thrown at you, you can recruit your own attack force, and then it's time to crush the pitiful dwellings of your pathetic enemies. The game's objective is killing the enemy lord while keeping yours alive. In order to do this, you collect resources that you use to recruit units and build defenses. What's the most important thing in building defenses?
400 miles of brand new wall.
Not sure if the length is accurate, but yes, walls are essential. The way you collect resources and build your keep reminds me of a simplified Age of Empires, but with a city builder twist. You plop down your granary and your stockpile and start building different resource gathering structures.
The granary is empty, sire.
These resources consist of wood for buildings,
Rip them all down.
stone for castle defenses and some buildings like the church, iron for weapons and food for your peasants. Then there is gold that is collected through taxing your population. You can use gold to hire troops, build siege weapons, or buy any resource you're lacking. The way you obtain resources is by using these filthy hovel-dwelling peasants who exist to serve their master. They take up jobs automatically as you build the correct structures. President Biden, you had an idea how to increase the amount of jobs available.
My economic plan would create 7 million more jobs than his in 4 years.
Okay, and how would you do that?
PPP.
I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch you. What is the plan?
I've made it clear
Okay, fine. Maybe Trump has an idea how to create jobs.
he does not have a plan.
No, let's hear him out.
When the stock market goes up, that means jobs.
I do not believe there is a stock market in this game, Donald. Fine. Anyway, you build a wood camp, a peasant will become a lumberjack and use his calloused hands to produce wood for you. If there are no jobs available, they loiter in front of your keep and spoil the view. You don't actually need to pay the peasants. Why the fuck would you? They will arrive at your castle automatically if you have food, a proper rat's nest for them to rest in, and if your popularity isn't negative. Popularity is the third mechanic besides housing and food that this game uses to control the amount of workers you have. If you run out of food, your popularity plummets, and people start leaving.
They will leave,
yeah.
and you will have a
I've-
depression the
I've-
likes
I've-
of which you've never seen.
Exactly. And if you raise the taxes too high, same thing happens. Of course, you want to squeeze as much taxes out of the plebs as possible, as this is usually vital for a thriving economy. So the plebs must be distracted with either religion or booze. Give them enough of one or the other, and they'll be quite happy to hand over all their precious gold to you. I believe former President Trump lost one of his online matches because of some tax mismanagement.
Just gave $28 billion to our farmers.
Yes, right. In this game, you have to do the exact opposite. If the unwashed rabble can't provide you with decent tax income, you can also sell resources you don't need. There are sort of two factions, but not really. There are the Muslims, who use mercenaries, and the crusading Christians, who use crusader troops. In addition to different unit rosters, they have different recruitment mechanics. Mercenaries are fast to hire but cost more gold, and crusader units cost less gold, but you need to manufacture their weapons before you can hire them. President Biden used both Muslim and Christian troops, while former President Trump preferred the Christian Crusaders.
He's banned Muslims because they're Muslims.
Excuse me, Joe, it's my turn to talk. First, I thought this might make the game somewhat intriguing and started wondering how it will affect the way these factions are played and what sort of strategies work best for either side. Then I found out this only applies to the learning campaigns. In the skirmishes, which make up the majority of the game, you have access to all unit types. This could be thought of as a good thing since you have more options, but in my experience, it makes these skirmishes more boring since you only have one faction to choose from. Good thing is that the game ran mostly without any major bugs. It crashed maybe 2 times in my 50 hours of gameplay. Visual bugs were this flying ballista and this centaur abomination. Sometimes the pathfinding of the units would start doing some pretty strange stuff and the units would wander in strange directions. This was quite rare though. The graphics are just good enough for me to try the game. The maps themselves don't offer much to look at. It is a desert, so thematically this is understandable, but from a viewing perspective it's quite boring. Cliffs, some trees, that's about it. Luckily, the units and buildings don't look too blocky or ugly. Only disgusting exception is this ugly apple tree. Right, Joe?
Bad apples.
Yeah. Units are detailed enough, you can easily differentiate them from each other, and they look just fine. Same with buildings, you can see your tiny servants breaking bread and shit. That's nice. Yeah, work that yeast. Work that yeast real good, peasant, or I'll feed you to the war dogs. Siege equipment looks pretty epic to me. Trebuchet, catapult, and check out my favorite, Warwolf. Tiny historical anecdote time. Warwolf was the name of the largest trebuchet ever built. This menacing monster is estimated to have been 90 to 120 meters or 300 to 400 feet tall. It was able to hurl rocks that weighed 135 kilograms or nearly 300 pounds. The mad lad who ordered it to be constructed was Edward I. As Warwolf was being built and the defenders saw what was coming, they wanted to surrender before the wolf would start huffing and puffing. But Edward thought, nah, fuck that, I want to try my new toy. So he ordered the poor bastards
Bastard, bastard, bastard.
You bastard!
You bastard son.
Dead man's bastard.
back into the castle to wait for him to launch huge boulders at them. After destroying parts of the castle, he was satisfied and the defenders had his permission to surrender. Quite the sick dick, in my honest opinion. My apologies to any possible fans of his. How do you guys feel about Edward's actions?
Totally irresponsible.
I have a very good relationship with him. Different kind of a guy.
And he's a fool.
He broke into a certain area.
He's talked about his good buddy who's a thug.
I'll have to side with Joe on this one. Dear viewer, if you like the video so far, please give a like and even consider subscribing. By doing that, you help to spread the gospel of Review Force. And by spreading this joyful message, what can we achieve, Joe?
We'd probably save up to 100,000 lives. It matters.
Yes, it sure does matter, Joe. The game's game modes consist of a learning campaign, skirmish trail, skirmish, and sandbox. And here is where the game's biggest FU is revealed. There isn't a proper campaign. Where is my epic adventure through the Holy Lands? Where are the heroic cutscenes of endless columns of fearless warriors marching to battle? Or a monumental city under siege? There's nothing. Only a tiny story during the learning campaigns that work as a tutorial for the game. The tutorial lasts for 11 missions and there are no cutscenes, just an info box and some narration. After this there are the skirmish trails, where you don't even get that much. Just skirmishes with predefined maps and opponents that aren't linked to each other in any way and contain no story whatsoever. Pathetic. It's like waiting for this and getting this. What did you think about that, Donald?
It's a disaster.
Skirmish Trails is your usual RTS skirmishing where it's you against the AI, but you don't get to choose the settings for the match. What makes this somewhat interesting, not really though, is that the AI lords have different playstyles. They prefer to use slightly different army compositions and differ in their tactical abilities. The Sultana likes to use assassins, sneaky little fuckers who are invisible until they come close enough to your units. They can also climb over walls and they use this ability to bypass defenses and head straight for the Lord. Muslims climbing over walls. How about that, Donald?
They're hurting people.
The pig prefers a more straightforward approach and tries to smash you with mace bows and crossbowmen. Speaking of mace boys, this was probably my favorite unit.
The Mace Boys rule!
They are fast and have an ability that makes their attack more lethal after they charge at the enemy. The voice acting makes me think of British football hooligans, dressed in armor, having the time of their life, as it is not frowned upon to beat people to a bloody pulp.
What?
In custom skirmishes, you get to choose the map, enemy lords, etc. In Sandbox, you can let your creativity loose and build whatever comes to mind with unlimited money. Money! Unlimited money! I tried it once, decent fun for a couple of hours as you go through the different waves of enemies that the game offers. What displeased me greatly was the fact that you can build your walls into places where they don't function properly. Enemy troops do not attack them for some reason, making your castle impenetrable and breaking the game. Here I activate the Lord wave. Shit, they are still getting through. I need more. Ha, I hope you like pain. Ha ha ha, I am invincible. The multiplayer I didn't try, not really interested in that. But if you are, apparently there are some people still playing it. The sound overall is not too shabby. Check out these songs. There are some quite epic. Some nice Arabian flavored desert tunes. Some forgettable. And some unforgettable for all the wrong reasons. Sounds like shit. The voice acting is convincing enough. I like that they have the Muslim mercenaries speaking Arabic. That's always a nice touch. And I simply love the sound when walls and buildings crumble under hits from siege machines. Simply delicious. Overall, I'd say the game's initial lower price really shows.
$43.
What? No, where did you get that price?
Plexiglass dividers.
What?
I've made it clear.
Right, anyway, the lack of cutscenes, the laughable AI Lord animations, and the opening scene all reek of low budget, even for a game released in 2014. Have a look at this. Pfft, ridiculous. How about paying 30 euros or $40 for that?
It's too expensive.
You're correct, sir. But luckily the game is often on discount. At the moment it's 3 euros or $4. I would grab it for that, since the castle defense and especially destruction was a jolly old time. If you try the game and like it, there's a few DLCs you can purchase. I bought the Princess and the Pig DLC for 5 euros and got bored after the first mission. I think it had the same problem as the skirmish trail, since it's the very same formula. You're just playing skirmish maps where the map and the enemies have been decided for you. And we know what that's like, right, Donnie?
And it doesn't work.
No, it doesn't. And so, Bicep's medieval rating from 1 to 5 for this game, where 5 is king's mutton and 1 is disgusting bread made from human bones à la Paris in the 19th century, is 3. Gruel with berries.
That's it. Bastard.
Thank you for staying with us, and as I said before, if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like, and please do come back next time.
Only the really, I hate to say this, but those with the lowest IQ, they might come back.
It seems that Donald's been reading some news about Antifa again, and he's gotten a bit cranky. Unlike Donaldinho said, if you come back, you prove you have the highest IQ on the planet. I am Mighty Captain Bicep. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Donald. You've been great guests. And thank you for giving Review Force your precious time. We fucking love you.